The history of the NBA draft is long and storied. As early as the 1940s, when the league was first established, the draft became a regular practice. Over the years, the draft system has become increasingly refined, with scouts traveling the globe to find talent. Typically, we assess a draft class by its hit rate, determining whether it's a strong or weak year based on the number of stars it produces. If a draft yields 2 to 3 MVP-level superstars and 6 to 8 all-star caliber players, it's considered a super draft or a golden generation. Looking back over the NBA's 70-plus years of drafting, one of the most outstanding classes is undoubtedly the 1996 draft. This class produced a total of 11 All-Stars, 3 MVPs, and 5 Hall of Famers. Hence, they are often referred to as the Class of '96. So, who are the representative figures from this legendary draft class, and why is it considered the greatest in history? In 1996, Jordan led the Bulls to a historic 72-win season and another championship, reaching the pinnacle of his career. That same year, a group of exceptionally talented young players entered the league through the draft. After varying periods of development, they would take up Jordan's torch and amplify the NBA's influence worldwide. The 76ers secured the first overall pick, deliberating between two outstanding guards, Stephon Marbury from Georgia Tech and Allen Iverson from Georgetown. Both showcased exceptional offensive talent in college, with the potential to become superstars. Had there been a standout big man available, such as Tim Duncan, who was just finishing his junior year, the 76ers would have undoubtedly selected him. The previous year, they had chosen Jerry Stackhouse with a third pick, who averaged 19.2 points, 3.7 rebounds, and 3.9 assists in his rookie season, leading to a greater desire for a frontcourt player. Unfortunately, the best big man that year, NCAA champion Marcus Camby, was known for his defensive prowess but lacked offensive skills and was already 22 years old, limiting his potential. After careful consideration, the 76ers ultimately decided to draft a guard to form a backcourt duo. At the time, there was another guard attracting Philadelphia's attention, but very few teams dared to use the first pick on an 18-year-old high school player, even if he was Kobe Bryant from Philly. Thus, the flashy Iverson, adorned with gold chains, watches, and rings, became the choice. As we know, even in his rookie season, Iverson fearlessly faced Jordan, famously crossing over the basketball god, creating an everlasting highlight. His incredible speed, unique rhythm, and relentless spirit quickly earned him a legion of fans. In the 2000 to 2001 season, he won the MVP award and led his team on an impressive run through the Eastern Conference. In the finals against the dominant Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant, Iverson dropped 48 points in Game 1, handing the Lakers their only playoff loss that season. Though he never won a championship in his 14-year career, the answer remains beloved by a loyal fanbase that vows to support him for life. As for Marbury, who was once compared to Iverson, he was selected 4th overall by the Bucks. However, Milwaukee wasn't his destination, as he was traded to the Timberwolves just 5 minutes later, teaming up with Kevin Garnett. To secure Marbury, the Timberwolves even included a future first-round pick from 1998 in the deal. This trade certainly had KG's endorsement. Long before they entered the NBA, KG and Marbury met at a basketball camp when they were both in high school, quickly becoming close friends. Finally, they reunited in the league. Unfortunately, after 2.5 seasons, Marbury was traded to the Nets due to dissatisfaction with his contract offer. He then bounced around the league, playing for the Suns, Knicks, and Celtics, seemingly bringing bad luck to each new team. His successors, like Jason Kidd and Steve Nash, consistently delivered better team results. When he left the NBA, he was only 31 years old. Nonetheless, his resume, featuring 2 All-Star selections and 2 All-NBA third-team honors, proves that Marbury was far from an average player. Moreover, upon joining the CBA, he revitalized his career, leading the Beijing Ducks to establish a dynasty, illustrating how fortunes can be intertwined. The Bucks selecting Marbury with the 4th overall pick left their fans puzzled. With Vin Baker and Glenn Robinson both averaging over 20 points as quality forwards, and veteran point guard Sherman Douglas on the roster, they seemed to need an off-ball shooting guard more than a ball-dominant point guard like Marbury. Ray Allen, a sharpshooter from Connecticut, appeared to be the ideal choice. However, the mystery soon unraveled. The Timberwolves were determined to get Marbury, prompting the Bucks to snatch him up before they could select him. Consequently, the Timberwolves settled for Allen with the 5th pick and traded a future first-round pick to the Bucks. This way, Milwaukee not only secured Allen but also saved some salary due to his lower draft position. This strategic move came from then Bucks Vice President of Operations, Michael Dunleavy, whose son is now the general manager of the Warriors. As for Ray Allen, throughout his career, he served as the primary option for the Bucks and later the Supersonics, leading them to the playoffs. After joining the Celtics in 2007, he won a championship in his first year with the Big Three. His legendary three-pointer in Game 6 of the 2013 Finals for the Heat arguably ranks among the greatest in NBA history, impacting the careers of multiple superstars. With 2 rings, a second-team All-NBA selection, a third-team All-NBA selection, and 10 All-Star appearances, as well as being the all-time leader in three-pointers before Curry's rise, Allen left the game without regrets. In 2007, Ray Allen joined the Celtics. However, on draft night 11 years earlier, the Celtics were just 1 pick away from landing him with the 6th overall pick. Heading into the draft, there was a consensus that 5 players were a cut above the rest, leaving the Celtics to explore other talents. Red Auerbach had his eye on Kobebryant, who even worked out for the Celtics. However, an unexpected turn of events with the 3rd overall pick caused the last of those top 5 prospects, Kentucky's Antoine Walker, to fall to the Celtics at the 6th spot. Was Walker really that good?
At the time, he was.
Known for his versatility in college, Walker excelled in rebounding, passing, shooting from range and defense, making him unlike the typical forwards. With the Celtics going through a rough period, Walker was seen as their hope for a return to glory. He was immediately placed at the center of their rebuild and earned a starting spot in his rookie season. His field goal attempts were second only to Iverson among the rookies of that class. Although Walker never made an All-NBA team, he did earn 3 All-Star selections, even starting in one of them. Of course, Walker had his flaws. He was notorious for taking ill-advised threes regardless of the game situation and had issues with maintaining his physical fitness. At one point, he and Paul Pierce formed the Celtics' Twin Towers, but ultimately, the Celtics traded Walker away. Ironically, he found success with the Miami Heat, where he started throughout the playoffs and won a championship in 2006. Selecting Walker didn't mean the Celtics completely gave up on Kobe, they had a plan B. With the 15th overall pick, Suns GM Danny Ainge, a protege of Auerbach, discussed a strategy where the Suns would draft Kobe if he fell to them and then trade him to the Celtics. Auerbach was confident that teams picking from 7 to 14 wouldn't have the guts to select a high school player like Kobe. However, he underestimated Lakers GM Jerry West, who made a savvy move by sending veteran center Vlade Divac to the Hornets for the 13th pick, allowing them to select Kobe and bring him to Los Angeles. West's gamble to trade an established player for a high school prospect was something that teams like the Sixers and Celtics hesitated to do. Ultimately, this bold decision paved the way for the Lakers' dominance over the next 2 decades. Kobe's accomplishments are well documented: 5 championships and the status of one of the greatest players in Lakers history. After selecting Kobe, the Lakers used their 24th pick to draft Derek Fisher from the University of Arkansas at Little Rock. While Fisher's career didn't shine as brightly as Kobe's, he was an integral part of all 5 championship teams, serving as a crucial piece in the Lakers' success. With the Lakers' gamble paying off, Ainge's competitive spirit was also ignited. Auerbach suggested that Ainge select another high school big man, Jermaine O'Neal, but Ainge chose not to follow that path. Despite already having the explosive point guard KJ on the roster, he made the bold decision to select Steve Nash, a slender 6 feet 3 inches, 180-pound guard from the relatively unknown Santa Clara University. It's hard to say whether Ainge's gamble was successful since Nash was traded to the Mavericks just 2 years later. However, fortune smiled on Nash when, in the summer of 2004, contract negotiations with Dallas fell through, allowing him to return to the Suns. By then in his 30s, Nash found new life in the fast-paced system, leading the Suns to impressive win totals of 62, 54, and 61 games, establishing them as title contenders while winning back-to-back MVP awards. As for the unfortunate Jermaine O'Neal, his journey took a rough turn. The Hornets intended to select him at the 13th pick, but the Lakers' acquisition of the more seasoned Vlade Divac changed that. At the 15th pick, the Suns also passed on him. Ultimately, he was selected by the Trailblazers at 17, which wasn't a bad outcome initially. However, the Trailblazers soon acquired Rasheed Wallace, which completely crowded O'Neal's opportunity for playing time. After averaging only 3.9 points in his first 4 seasons, he was traded to the Pacers, where his career finally took off. O'Neal earned an All-NBA second-team selection and 2 All-NBA third-team selections, making 6 consecutive All-Star appearances and even finishing third in MVP voting at one point. Together with Ron Artest, he helped sustain the Pacers during Reggie Miller's decline. In addition to Vlade Divac, who was traded for Kobe, the most notable Yugoslavian presence in this draft was Peja Stojakovic, selected 14th overall by the Kings. Peja reached the peak of his career with Sacramento, becoming one of the famed Sacramento Five. After Chris Webber's gradual decline due to injuries, Peja briefly became the team leader during the 2003-2004 season, earning a spot on the All-NBA second team. He was a 3-time All-Star and won the three-point contest twice in a row. Unfortunately, at his peak, he couldn't deliver a championship for the Kings, instead becoming a stepping stone for the dominant Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant duo. It wasn't until his final season with the Mavericks that he finally achieved his championship dream. In addition to Peja, another notable European from the Golden Generation was the Lithuanian center, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, also known as Big Z. Like his idol Arvydas Sabonis, he possessed a soft shooting touch and solid footwork as a skilled big man. Selected 20th overall by the Cavaliers, he made the All-Star team in the 2002-2003 season. Halfway through that season, Cleveland welcomed their chosen one, LeBron James. Throughout the remainder of his career, Big Z served as a loyal sidekick to the young superstar. This brings us to an important point. Walker dropping to the 6th pick triggered a series of chain reactions. So why did he, who should have been selected in the top 5, fall? This leads us to the Vancouver Grizzlies, who held the 3rd overall pick. At the time, the Grizzlies were just a struggling expansion team in their first year in the league, and they weren't located in the US, which affected their ability to attract top prospects due to geographic, salary cap, and competitive challenges. Prior to the draft, the Grizzlies tried out many players, including Marbury and Ray Allen, but very few were willing to come. Sharif Abdur-Rahim from the University of California, Berkeley stood out as an exception. With a name reflecting his Islamic faith, he was known for his disciplined and humble demeanor, akin to Grant Hill. He was the only one who expressed a willingness to go to Vancouver, and ultimately, the Grizzlies selected him, establishing him as the team's leader. In 2000, he won an Olympic gold medal as a member of the Dream Team 4. During the 2001-2002 season, he made the All-Star team. Interestingly, among the 11 All-Stars from the 1996 draft class, he was the least recognized. Sadly, he had to retire from his professional career in 2008, just shy of 32, due to knee injuries. Indeed, while the 3rd overall pick, Rahim, made the All-Star team, the 2nd pick, Camby, did not. As mentioned earlier, Camby was a strong defensive player but weak on offense. Despite his dominance in the NCAA, he essentially served as a substitute for Duncan. He did win a DPOY award with the Nuggets, and while he never made an All-Star team, he achieved 1 DPOY for all defensive team selections and 4 blocks titles, solidifying his status as a high-level role player. Additionally, the 10th overall pick by the Pacers, Eric Dampier, deserves mention. He didn't earn many accolades, with his peak seasons spent with the Mavericks. At that time, as Shaq was declining and Yao was plagued by injuries, he even referred to himself as the 2nd-best center in the West after Shaq. Ironically, in both 2006 and 2011, the Mavericks and Heat met in the finals. In 2006, he was with the Mavericks when the Heat won the championship, and in 2011, he was with the Heat when the Mavericks claimed their title, making him one of the biggest unfortunate players in history. Finally, we need to talk about a player who was meant to be a strong supporting cast for Walker but went undrafted. He wasn't selected in the first 58 picks and ended up representing the Celtics in the Summer League. However, the coach insisted he abandon his strengths in the post and instead play as a guard, leading to a poor performance and eventual release. He ultimately wouldn't find a home in Boston, only Motor City would allow him to shine. Ben Wallace would go on to become the greatest undrafted player in history, holding the record for the most DPOY awards ever. This concludes our overview of the 1996 draft class, and you might notice several key points. Firstly, this group is incredibly talented and diverse. Kobe is a master of isolation on both ends, Iverson is a legendary scorer and dribble artist, Nash is an exceptional playmaker, while Ray Allen and Peja are elite sharpshooters. Big Z is reliable, Walker is versatile, and Jermaine O'Neal and Alonzo Mourning represent resilience. Secondly, they each have distinct personalities. Kobe's intensity, Iverson's rebelliousness, Nash's humility, and Marbury's flair. Meanwhile, players like Ray Allen, Abdur-Rahim, and Nash are more understated gentlemen. This contrast often led to discussions both on and off the court. Thirdly, they thrived on competition, dominating their eras without forming super teams. Their presence brought vibrancy and diversity to the NBA landscape. Lastly, they all boast impressive accolades, with numerous MVPs, All-NBA selections, and scoring titles. From 1999 to 2014, each year saw the Golden Generation leave their mark in the finals. Undoubtedly, the performances they delivered from 1996 to 2016 are nearly unparalleled. We thank the players who entered the league in 1996 for creating another golden era for fans in the post-Jordan age.